So I'll come straight to the topic. I don't treat myself as an expert. What I'm going to present to you is what a citizen of Delhi feels about its air quality and how we perceive it to be. I would also first and foremost like to thank DPCC for doing a very onerous task of putting data in public domain. Whatever I'm presenting is based upon DPCC data. So here is data from two of their stations, Punjabi Bagh and RK Puram, January of 2015. We are talking of in the papers or newspapers about weekdays and weekends, traffic-borne pollution and so on. So I thought, let's look at, is the air quality better on weekends or is it worse? This is RK Puram data. The blue line is for the weekends. This is 17th, 18th and 31st of January. Consecutive, repeatedly happening on those weekends. You see daytime air quality is significantly better. I am only talking of PM 2.5. I am not bothered about all the other pollutants. Dr. Sengupta's slide has also shown PM 2.5 impacts everything. So my focus is only on PM 2.5. So you see nighttime, midnight to about 8 o'clock, everything seems to be similar, whether it's weekdays or weekends. Daytime, the weekends seem to be significantly better. But when it comes to the night, look at the short-term data going 3 times above what it was on the weekdays. I don't know why it has happened. It could have been some Shadi ke saye or something. It could have been a traffic jam on some of those roads. But the important thing is that on several weekends, I find this trend. It is not just one day's data. It is also not just restricted to RK Puram. It is also happening to Punjabi Bagh. So both of those stations maintained equally well, I guess. My own people are operating and maintaining them for some time. And so I have no reason to question the data. Also, two different stations showing similar trends. It could not be by chance or it could not be a malfunction. There is a phenomena happening here. We need to understand it. And if a citizen of Delhi is being exposed to 600 micrograms of per meter cube of PM 2.5, I feel scary living in this city anymore. This is diurnal trends of 3 pollutants here. PM 2.5, carbon monoxide and NOx. We all are fairly aware that probably vehicular pollution sources are contributing to our air quality deterioration. And I thought that, well, they're not just giving PM 2.5, so some of the gases should correlate, and NOx and CO do seem to be correlating pretty well. The red trace is NOx, the blue one is CO. It bothered me that NOx seems to be leading. There is a lag in the PM 2.5, but I later on realized it's perhaps because the PM 2.5 instrument is giving an hourly average, while the NOx instruments are giving 5-minute averages and 5-minute data. So the NOx seems to be able to show up higher concentrations much faster. It is not that the NOx is actually building up faster than PM 2.5. I feel our measurement process is showing the PM 2.5 later. They're probably picking up equally fast. The upper one is RK Puram and the lower one is Punjabi Bagh. Both of these are weekend data. Weekdays do show a similar trend. It was highlighted on the weekend, so I've shown them here. You also notice a temporal correlation. The peaks are occurring during the periods of peak traffic density. Evening peaks are pronounced and higher. I don't know whether it is because of the adverse meteorology, ventilation coefficient, or higher traffic density. This is not something which, as a citizen of Delhi, I have bothered to do. I have looked at data which is available in public domain and I feel concerned, which is what I'm bringing to your attention. This is the deterioration in air quality that, as a citizen of Delhi, I have observed. I happen to have had access to a PM 2.5 sampler much before the standard was notified, This was early studies that Envirotech was doing when we were producing the sampler. And Pachkuya Road, Okla, Green Park, several samples. This was done by a student of JNU. We loaned the sampler to him. He was doing this as part of his MTech thesis. So you find that 94 to 100 or 7 to 100, 70 to 100 is the sort of 24-hour average PM2.5 that we were observing then. And what I'm observing in January 2015, seasons are slightly different. I can give a leeway for that. But February 2002 is not so different from January of 2015. And 24-hour averages of PM2.5 are now showing a double. It has deteriorated by 100%. So, Dr. Saha, I'm sorry I have to disagree with you. If CPCB says that everything is hunky-dory, I think we are brushing it under the carpet. I will not agree to that. Okay, to a review of what I feel we have shown here, there is a significant deterioration over the past decade. I don't think we can hide behind that thing. Temporal trends are showing distinct morning and evening peaks. Morning traffic does not include heavy vehicles. That could have been a cause. Evening peaks are worse. They could have been because of the higher emissions due to the presence of heavy vehicles. It could have also been because of higher traffic density. It could have also been because of adverse meteorology and ventilation coefficient. But it is something which the more expert groups will have to study. Again, as a citizen of Delhi, not as an expert, I tried to see that who could be contributing to it. And of course, since morning, Dr. Sengupta has also shown that list. I have tried to just single out the ones which to a layman come to mind. And this is what I've done. In construction activity, I felt that there was a direct impact on air quality when you're cutting tiles or when you're unloading and unloading cement. So there is a direct impact. There is also an impact because of the large amount of movement of construction material with heavy vehicles. All through our nights, citizens of Delhi see air being deteriorated in their vicinity because every third house is being remade. And we have truck unloading and loading going on at night because Delhi में no entry दिन के समय लगी होती है. By the way, उस समय ventilation coefficient भी सबसे खराब होता है. And then there are traffic bottlenecks. So the metro is a boon, but the metro is also causing traffic snarl-ups. And those traffic snarl-ups, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers of traffic jams, we are all now having air-conditioned cars. We don't want to shut down the engine because the AC will go off. And so what is it doing to the air quality? I feel there is also too much of an emphasis on tailpipe emissions. There is a component of road lifted dust which we are not adequately estimating. I recall what Mukesh Sharma was presenting on black carbon. He had that number in black, 14 to 18 micrograms per meter cube is what I seem to have noticed in most of his slides, which means that tailpipe emissions, to my mind, is therefore contributing only that fraction out of the 200 odd micrograms per meter cube that we are measuring on a 24-hour basis. So is that emphasis on tailpipe emissions really properly placed? In this context, the formation of secondary pollutants probably is being ignored. He did mention part of it in his slide. Low-hanging fruit, what can be done? When Gupta ji had sent me this request to make, he said, do try to suggest some short-term and long-term and medium-term measures. What can be done? Again, I'm presenting this as a layman. We'll come to tailpipe emissions in a minute. Road-lifted dust is something which I feel is a low-hanging fruit, can easily be addressed. In our neighborhood, I live in Sukhdev Vihar. We have a very diligent MCD Karamchari who comes and sweeps our road every day. This lady uses the traditional broom. The dust is left where it is. She just moves it here and there. She does collect the loose garbage or the loose paper or leaves or something, puts it into a heap. Every car that passes by raises a cloud. You and I are breathing it, whether as PM10 or PM2.5. On all our busy streets, we have the curbs or the roadsides edges laden with dust. I often see when I'm traveling to Okhla or traveling to my neighborhood work that Karamchari wahan pe usko, he puts it onto the divider or onto the pedestrian walkway, and the next wind brings it back to the road. I think this is a low-hanging fruit. Vacuum sweeping trucks, I have seen sometimes operating in Delhi, too few in number. I do not know why we cannot invest in those to remove the dust from our roadsides. I remember a study we were doing at Satna where the roads are semi-paved, I will not even call them paved, and road-lifted dust was appearing to be the major contributor to the air quality deterioration, not the emissions from the cement plants in the neighborhood. I therefore feel that besides the vacuum sweeping trucks, which would be a day-to-day solution, a cover-up of the exposed areas, whether by greenery or by paving. I did not like to put in paving, but then I realized where is the water to keep the greenery alive? And therefore, I guess there is no choice but to pave those stretches of patches of road which are kacha. Biomass burning has been mentioned here and now. There were some newspaper reports, Lutyens, Delhi, a minister's gardener was burning leaves. In our neighborhood, again I'm talking as a citizen, we have a park, we do a morning walk there. Some of us have contributed to engage a Mali to maintain it because the MCD would not do it. As public spirited citizens, we do not allow him to burn the leaves. There is enough leaf drop and cuttings that our Mali does that we create a mound every 10 days, 15 days. What do we do with that mound? The MCD does not come to lift up that green. The local kachra fellow will not take it away because he's not allowed to take it away. He's not allowed to take away the green kachra. So what do we do with it? I believe CPCB in its backyard garden is maintaining a composting system. Once they offered to give me a bag, so that's why I know it. I also know that some residents of, I think, Defense Colony have set up a composting unit in one of their parks. But I don't see lifting away of those leaves to a central composting facility as a solution because A, it never gets done on time, B, it again leads to vehicular movement. So why not have these composting facilities in every park? Somebody will have to pay for it. I don't think the citizens will really pay for it on their own. It is the MCD or DPCC or some agency, civic agency, which will have to probably fund those composting units. You may incentivize citizens by contributing it by saying that, okay, we will give you free compost for your small pots and gardens, whatever. Anyway, biomass burning is not going to go away by putting an NGT order on it. Unless you give a solution, what will happen to those leaf droppings and cuttings, I don't think biomass burning will stop. On vehicle tailpipe emissions, I feel that better road management alone can bring down the total emission load by a significant factor. Putting moratorium on 10-year-old vehicles or diesel vehicles, तुम SUV क्यों चलाते हो, तुम पेट्रोल गाड़ी क्यों नहीं चलाते हो? I don't think that is really going to do it. We are a democratic country. You will not be able to bring down laws to do it. But can we avoid those kilometer longs of traffic jams? Anybody traveling from the airport back to South Delhi, you can see what is happening to the outer ring road. Anybody traveling on the ring road, you can see एक गाड़ी ब्रेक डाउन हो जाती है कहीं हेवी गाड़ी खासतौर पे 4 किलोमीटर का जैम लग जाता है. That vehicle is not removed for several hours because we don't have a crane system or a traffic management system to do it. And these days, even metro construction is doing it. Just 2 days ago, Panchsheel ke paas road cave in and a 3-kilometer jam. I was stuck in that jam. I know it as a first-hand information. So I think road management and avoiding traffic snarl-ups is a low-hanging fruit. If traffic management in Delhi can be improved, air quality is going to definitely improve. You decongest high traffic areas by planning one-way traffic lanes or scheduling which lane would be working. I do not know. I'm not a traffic expert, but if you were to decongest traffic areas, heavy traffic areas, air quality will definitely improve. Overloading of vehicles, we all know it. 6 टन के ट्रक में 12 टन, 8 टन, 18 टन कुछ भी लादा जाता है. I have neighbors who have stone crushers. I have some people who run units which are supplying sand. Sand mining कहने को बंद है, लेकिन 12 टन का कैरियर जो 6 टन की गाड़ी है वो लेके आता है. ओवरलोडिंग डीजल व्हीकल पे होगी तो एमिशन कितना बढ़ जाएगा हम लोग मेजर कर चुके हैं अलग अलग समय पे. पर क्यों एक दिल्ली बॉर्डर पे जो बैरियर्स हैं आपके, उसमें वे ब्रिजेस क्यों नहीं लग सकते? रिसेंट न्यूज़पेपर रिपोर्ट्स में मैं देख रहा हूं उसकी बात हो रही है. कब इंप्लीमेंट हो रहा है मुझे नहीं मालूम. एज अ सिटीजन ऑफ दिल्ली आई फील दिस वाज अ लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट. व्हाई इज इट नॉट इंप्लीमेंटेड? Adulteration of diesel we are all talking about. We all know it is happening. Why is it happening? What is the major adulterant? I also happen to have a friend who owns a petrol pump. I asked him, यार क्यों होता है? कहता है केरोसिन इतना सस्ता है, आसानी से मिलता है, केरोसिन उसमें एडल्ट्रेट होता है. अब प्रधानमंत्री ने जनधन योजना में इतने सारे बैंक अकाउंट खोल दिए हैं, आप केरोसिन की सब्सिडी डायरेक्टली ट्रांसफर करो ना. जिसको ईंधन के लिए केरोसिन जलाना है, आप कहते हैं कि साहब कमजोर वर्ग के आदमी को गैस अवेलेबल नहीं है, गैस की सब्सिडी देंगे. आप केरोसिन की सब्सिडी डायरेक्टली दो, केरोसिन एट पार विल डीजल ले आओ, खत्म हो जाएगी डीजल की एडल्ट्रेशन. बट दिस इज समथिंग विच यू और आई कैन नॉट डू. इट इज द गवर्नमेंट दैट कैन डू इट इफ दे हैव द विल टू क्लीन अप द डीजल एडल्ट्रेशन एक्ट. What can the scientific community do? I thought हम क्या कर सकते हैं खुद, हम सबके लिए तो कह रहे हैं. So I feel that whatever source apportionment study was done by CPCB, to the best of my knowledge, it was not done for PM 2.5. Today's concern is on PM 2.5. Also, despite my searching, I could not find a public document which says this is the source apportionment study that has been done by CPCB. So my urgent feeling is that unless we have scientifically done source apportionment of PM 2.5, you cannot do a holistic cleanup act. Similarly, a carrying capacity of Delhi NCR airshed, I do not find it anywhere published. I have tried to search it on the net after Gupta ji asked me to make this presentation. I spent at least 2 hours trying to find any publication on the carrying capacity of Delhi airshed. I could not find it anyway. I think this is something which is urgently required. I also feel that the monitoring network of Delhi, there was in the morning a slide which showed several automated stations, several manual air monitoring stations. They are focused on what we call compliance monitoring. Whether we are complying with annual means 24-hour averages and so on. You and I are not breathing just those 24-hour averages. Otherwise वही सिचुएशन है, कुनबा डूबा क्यों पॉपुलर से है. हम पीक्स और ट्रफ्स भी ब्रीथ कर रहे हैं और पीक्स और ट्रफ से भी हमारी हेल्थ डिटोरेट हो रही है. ये अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम की बात है. यू रिक्वायर समथिंग विच इज लाइक अ रैपिड एक्शन फोर्स. आपके पास एक पुलिस फोर्स होती है कंप्लायंस करने के लिए, जनरल लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के लिए, और जब कोई एपिसोड होता है तो आप रैपिड एक्शन फोर्स बुलाते हो. योर मॉनिटरिंग नेटवर्क नीड्स टू हैव अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम्स. एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इट डज नॉट हैव दैट. वी हैव कंटिन्यूअस मॉनिटरिंग स्टेशंस, but the data is looked upon that 1 month later on, or at best 24 hours later on. There is no early warning system of air quality management in the place. On tailpipe emissions, yes, government NCR states need to urgently implement that peripheral expressway, but what is it going to do? 50,000 trucks which are coming into Delhi, not laden with produce for Delhi, they are going to bypass us. आपने लाखों व्हीकल्स का भी स्टैटिस्टिक प्रेजेंट किया है, तो क्या उन 50,000 गाड़ियों से सिग्निफिकेंट इंप्रूवमेंट हो जाएगा? डीजल पार्टिकुलेट फिल्टर्स मैंडेटरी क्यों नहीं हो सकते मुझे नहीं मालूम. NGT wants to ban 10-year-old diesel vehicles. But when I did study this a little deeper, I find that the vehicle manufacturer lobby is very much against it. And they have put into public domain several papers which say that you cannot retrofit diesel particulate filters on diesel vehicles because it has a back pressure. Somebody said this, somebody said that. There was also something about ultra low sulfur diesel required. But as an engineer, I feel that is again something which is a commercial aspect. They're trying to put roadblocks so that newer vehicles, more modern technology can be pushed to us. Diesel particulate filters, I feel, is a solution that can be implemented. It again requires will. There is a talk of phase out of older vehicles. A 10-year norm is being talked about. If I own a diesel vehicle and I'm maintaining it pretty well, because it is a large vehicle, I don't take it out every day to work. Even in 5 years or 10 years, it has run only 20,000 kilometers compared to a taxi which in 2 years has run 1 lakh kilometers. Can age of vehicle be a rational solution? I think it is only the kilometers of usage or the condition of vehicle which can form a rational basis. If you want to phase out on a rational basis. Otherwise, it is going to be challenged in a court of law. If nobody else, one of us will do it. Why is diesel vehicle becoming a preferred vehicle type that private fleet owners or private vehicle owners is buying? Because of the disparity of diesel prices with petrol. And why are we maintaining that disparity? एग्रीकल्चरल लॉबी कहती है कि साहब डीजल पंपिंग सेट्स में लगेगा, डीजल रूरल कम्युनिटी में लगेगा, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में लगेगा, तो हम अर्बन एरिया में भी लो प्राइस डीजल बेच रहे हैं. अगेन जनधन योजना है, आप डीजल सब्सिडी जिसको देनी है एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस को डायरेक्टली सब्सिडी दो ना, डीजल प्राइस एट पार विद पेट्रोल ले आओ, डीजल फ्लीट अपने आप खत्म हो जाएगी प्राइवेटली ओन्ड व्हीकल्स में. अगेन इट इज अ लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट बट रिक्वायर्स विल. If there is somebody from the government who wishes to exercise that will, I think this is a low-hanging fruit. Something can be done about it. To come to end, sir, I think I have restricted myself to the time limit you gave me. Except the fact that Delhi is overgrown, I do not think there are any short-term solutions to it. Delhi is too much a bigger city than it should have been from the resources that are available near and around it. There is a talk of smart cities. Most of Europe has cities interconnected with fast trains. Why can we not have the next urban settlement at least 100 kilometers away? If it is not 100 kilometers away, तो यही होगा हम दिल्ली में रह के गुड़गांव कहाँ जाएंगे काम करने, या नोएडा में रह के गुड़गांव जाएंगे काम करने. The whole city is crisscrossed with us traveling to work and back from it. So if we are 100 kilometers away, we will not come on a daily basis. We will still come to the airport. इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट दिल्ली में, चलो यहाँ से फ्लाइट पकड़ लेंगे. वी विल स्टिल कम टू मे बी द मेन दिल्ली रेलवे स्टेशन, बट वी विल नॉट कम टू वर्क टू दिल्ली. एंड अनलेस वी डू नॉट डिसेंट्रलाइज बाय डेवलपिंग अर्बन क्लस्टर्स, इक्वली गुड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर 100 किलोमीटर्स अवे, दिल्ली की प्रॉब्लम हल नहीं होने वाली. आई ऑल्सो फील दिल्लीज प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट यूनिक. देर आर सो मेनी मोर दिल्लीज कमिंग अप अराउंड अस all over the country, and so if Delhi can lead the way by showing this is what can be done, then we would have done a great